Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Glad you could attend. Step inside the tent, my friends and movie maniacs, as we look at a film from some familiar names. Yes, we are looking at Brute 1976 from director Marcel Walz and writer Joe Knetter. If those names sound familiar, we recently reviewed Garden of Eden from these two. Well, they're back with they're hitting us this year with a 1-2 punch of brutality in the form of Garden of Eden and now Brute 1976, which is this send-up 70s extreme redneck horror film where we get a group of individuals going out to a remote place in the desert for a photo shoot. But there's a ghost town nearby that isn't exactly abandoned. No. There's some very nasty individuals that live in this ghost town. They don't want to harm anyone who crosses their paths. And when our photographer group ends up crossing paths with these nasty individuals, we see how the blood and body parts start flying, and we watch how the photo shoot group tries to leave with their skin intact, literally, from the desert. Yeah, I love the approach to this. I've been following the progress of this, like the trailer and the updates, and it had that look of a 70s movie. And Marcel Walz and Joe Knetter and the entire production team managed to capture that spirit, that look, that feel of those extreme 70s horror films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or The Hills Have Eyes. It definitely has The Hills Have Eyes kind of crossed with TCM, and I appreciate that quite a bit, not only in its look, in which you have the remote locations, the desert, as well as the ghost town where the disturbed group lives, where you got the abandoned cars and shacks and such, and just gives it that own, it's its own character, its own creepy vibe to it. And then on top of it, you add these creepy and brutal killers. Yeah, you've got a great pot bubbling there for some horror goodness. Now, everybody in here does really well in their roles, and we've seen many of these performers before. Adrienne McLean shows up as Roxy. Really loved her performance in here. Sarah French, once again, showing a character she is just having fun playing. You can tell, just like in Garden of Eden here, her character Sunshine, oh man, she is just dripping with enthusiasm and charisma and having fun playing the Sunshine character, and it's always great. You can feel that energy coming across, and she's getting a kick playing Sunshine. Then Gigi Gustin, who we saw in Garden of Eden as well playing, and we've seen her in American Trash actually, does great as Raquel. This is a role that had to be very draining for her. She goes through some extreme things over the course of her screen time, and Gigi Gustin doing so well, and it's selling the fear, the screams, just everything. And where they take her character was a surprise. There are some surprises in here. While you get those familiar beats, there are also some surprises. So I appreciated that quite a bit. Just when you thought it was going to go one way, they take a little bit of a left turn. And yeah, I liked that. You know, it kept me going, where are you going to go with this story? Now, as far as our creepy folks go, Bishop Ali Stevens plays Brutus, and we saw Bishop Ali Stevens in Evil Horrific Monsters and Bloodthirst. Brutus is a brutal person. He gets the most brutal kills, the scariest individual with probably the scariest mask, I would say, out of all of it. And yeah, just diving into this very nasty individual who probably gets some of the better kills in here, and an interesting scene involving a bedroom, which I won't go any further than that, but yeah, a lot of fun watching Brutus. And then we get Jed Rowan in here as Daisy, who you are not going to forget, have a bit of a Ed Gein taste to him, but they take some things to the extreme that I, again, was not expecting them to see, but here, a pleasant surprise in just creating a very memorable yet disturbing character in the form of Daisy, thanks to the performance of Jed Rowan. And Denzel Yvette as Mama Birdie, did not see this character coming. And when Mama Birdie does show up, where that character ends up, I appreciated quite a bit, because one, Denzel gives such a wonderful performance in here. Really what you needed for this role. We saw her briefly in Garden of Eden, so to see her get a more expanded role and get more screen time, I very much appreciate it, because there's a lot of talent there and really helps solidify this overall disturbing group of folks. If you like your extreme horror films from the 70s with lots of wonderfully looking visceral practical effects, which Marcel Walz brings to every one of their films. I love the fact that they work as much practical effects as possible, and the ones in here very much fit the type of movie they're making, and overall color palette and everything. This feels like a lost 70s redneck horror film. And so mission accomplished there, and I think it's one you need to keep an eye out for. Now, it was supposed to come out sooner on VOD than it will. It got pushed out, I think, till September. Look for more details down below, because it's actually getting a theatrical run. Check out Fandango, and you can see where the theater closest to you will be showing this. Because if you're a gore horror out there looking for some brutal horror, Brute 1976 will fit that bill, so you'll want to see it with a large group on a big screen. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate every single one of you. Like, subscribe, bells and whistles and all that here. And until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.